Thank you all for attending. Welcome to the 2023 Unified Robotics Kickoff. We have a lot of exciting news for you today, but before we begin, I'd like to announce that we are joined today by presenters from Australia in the city of Wollongong. I will respect their traditions with an acknowledgement of country. I would like to pay my respect and acknowledge the traditional custodians of Dharawal County, the land from which we are speaking. I would also like to pay my respect to the elders, past, present, and those emerging. I would also like to extend my respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people present here today. Okay, so to begin the kickoff, we will have a quick introduction. We'll explain how to build and program your robots. Then we will have a very exciting new game to announce. We will share an overview of the resources we have available on our website. And finally, we're going to split off into 2 breakout rooms. One breakout room will be for the Washington region, and the other breakout room will be for all other regions. We are working to assign you to the right rooms, so teams should hopefully be able to automatically plop you into the right call. So to begin, I'd like to remind you all of the core values of Unified Robotics. Respect. We value all members and encourage everyone to participate. Willingness. We try new things, which can open unexpected doors. Empathy. We build a foundation for understanding the experiences of others. Community. We create meaningful relationships for lasting change. And success. We believe every person defines their own success. Now to introduce the executive team. Hi, I'm Delaney. I'm the Executive Director of Unified Robotics. Next is Andrew. Andrew oversees our website, documentation, and has developed our new portal. Rhonda is our newest member, and she is our Lego robot and programming expert. Bobby, Kayla, and Kate help with the championship organization, and Noelle oversees program growth. We are thrilled to announce that this year we are welcoming 5 new regions to Unified Robotics. So first, I would like to announce that we are welcoming Australia to Unified Robotics this year.
Hey!
Woo! Welcome. And then next up, we have Communities at Washington. This group is designed for young adults in community centers, colleges, and transitional programs in Washington State. Welcome. And then we would like to welcome Ontario, Canada. Next up is Oregon. And last but not least, help me welcome Minnesota.
Woohoo! Yay!
Woo! Welcome.
Yeah, so building a robot. So if you go on the next slide, we are continuing our transition from using Lego Mindstorm's EV3 to the new Lego Spike Prime kit. And this is because Lego has retired the platform. And so we know that there's some teams that still have the Mindstorm EV3 kit, but new teams will probably use the new Spike Prime kit. But for this year, we're going to allow both platforms to be used for this game. And so, yeah, so if you have existing EV3 kits, you're more than welcome to use those for the season. And so comparing the 2 kits, they both have basically the same parts that you would need to build your robot for the game. The big differences are highlighted in red in the slide. The big things are that there's 1 large motor and 2 medium motors in the Spike Prime, while the EV3 had 2 large motors and a medium motor. The 2 medium motors in the Spike Prime are essentially the same as the 2 large motors. It's just the new design, but you would likely use those as your drive motors to be able to move your robot. There's also some changes in the name for like the distance sensor compared to the ultrasonic sensor. Those are essentially the same thing. They're just new names. And then the EV3 has 2 touch sensors, but the Spike Prime only has 1. And so keep that in mind when you're designing your robot. We don't think there's going to be any advantage if another team has 2 touch sensors over 1.
Andrew, if I can butt in there too, the gyroscope is inside the Spike Prime, whereas it's an external sensor in the EV3.
Yes, thank you so much.
There. That is still there.
All right, so with that, we're going to move on to programming your robot. Just like how it was with last year, in the next slide, it should show you that there's new apps compared to what we've had before with the EV3. Before, there was something called the EV3 Lab software, and it uses a traditional style of programming that was done that people might be more familiar with. But this year, and just like last year, they've moved on to a new programming platform. And so these are the apps that we encourage you to use. You may not necessarily, if you want to go use something else that would work for the robot, that's totally fine. But as a starter for everyone, we recommend using these 2. So for the top, it's for the EV3, and then on the bottom is for the Spike. And they both use the same programming platform. And so you can see for the last year and this year with the new platform, Lego has adopted using Scratch-style programming as a primary way of programming your robot. It used to be this block design where it kind of goes left and right, but the new Scratch platform goes from top to bottom, and it uses some more words to be able to help describe what's going on.
So it is time for the most exciting part of the kickoff, the unveiling of our new game. And we cannot thank our new game development team enough for the amount of work they've put in designing this new game for us and working with us for months to get it ready for you all. So coming all the way from Australia, let me introduce Andrew, William, and Faith. Off to you.
Good morning, everyone. Well, at least that's what it is here. Yeah, so we are members of FRC Team 5985, Project Bucephalus, and we have a game for you. So hold on to your hats, because I think this is going to be a little bit different. So we are proud to introduce the game of Buccaneer. So we're going with the pirate theme. What you will be doing, you have to build a robot pirate ship. It has to navigate an ocean. It has to shoot cannons at the other ships, and you've got to collect treasure on the way. So this is a robot versus robot game, but you'll have a lot of fun with it. So this is the field diagram. Now, you don't have to panic too much because it doesn't have to be precisely those angles and things, but that is what the field will look like. And you'll be able to create one yourself on a bit of carpet with some cloth tape. Any questions? Happy to help. Okay, so here is the intro video about what you will be doing in Buccaneer. At the start of each match, activate your code. Place your robot on the line, load it, and wait for the referee's signal. Activate your robot anytime after the referee gives the start signal. During each match, ships travel clockwise around their ocean. They earn treasure for each lap they complete. Ships are also trying to shoot their cannons at the opposing ships and islands. Hitting a moving target can be challenging. Ships can only be reloaded while motionless inside the home port. One team member activates the safety switch whilst the other reloads the cannon. Practice this process to make sure your team does it effectively. Ships score 2 points for hitting the opponent's ship and 1 point for hitting the opponent's island. These points are cumulative. A ship could score 3 points if their cannonball strikes both the opponent's ship and their island. Each time the robot enters home port, the referee will add 1 piece of treasure to your loot pile. These are worth points at the end of each game.
Right, the field. All right, so the oceans are the taped lines on the carpet floor. Each field has 2 oceans in mirrored positions. Islands are wooden walls secured to the floor, and points are the parts of the ocean behind the islands. Each island has a load container secured to the ground. Ships travel clockwise on their oceans, passing through ports and in front of the islands.
So the firing zone is where your ship can fire its cannon. So that's that area at the front. The safe zone, highlighted in green, is where your team can interact with your robot. And the home port, highlighted in red, is where you can load treasure and cannonballs into your ship.
So when we get to the points, it's very much up to you guys to decide what your priorities are going to be. So if your robot can travel fast around the ocean, you'll gather 1 piece of treasure for every lap you do. That's 1 point. At the same time, if you can hit the opponent's island, that gets you another point. But if you hit the other ship, that's worth 2. And just for fun, you get a bonus 3 points in every match if the robot you come to the table with looks like a ship. So go nuts on the decorations, guys. We want to see some impressive craft out there. Yes, so skull and crossbones is easy. Let's see you get ambitious. So when you're reading the rules, there are a few definitions. So the ship is defined as your robot and everything combined with it. Treasure is just a standard 2x2 Lego brick that just gets added to your pile on every trip. The cannon, and this is the part, it's a ball launching mechanism. It does not have to be a catapult. It can be anything you want as long as it can launch the ball. Now, the cannonball is a very specific part. It comes from, you'll see a lot of them in the NXT kits, if anyone still has those hanging around. Otherwise, you can hop on a Bricklink and buy them for cents. So I suggest getting a handful of those. They're useful for a lot of projects. And loot is what we call the pile that you build up.
So these are 2 examples of what a basic ship could look like. We have one for Spike and EV3. Instructions will be provided for these on the unified website. And with the EV3 version, the sail is not complete, so you can add your own sail with that. So here's some things that we recommend if you're building your own robot. You need a touch or force sensor to trigger your robot safe mode. You need a light or color sensor to follow the line. Now you can have as many of those as you want. You need an ultrasonic or distance sensor to detect targets. You need a ball launcher to shoot cannonballs. Now, as Andrew said, that doesn't have to be a catapult. As long as it gets that ball moving, it's okay. And accessible screen, buttons, charging, and download port. Now, again, if you're building a robot from scratch, you want to make sure that it's balanced and stable. You should also test your line following performance at different speeds. Test your reaction time to target detection, and make sure your robot is tested on a carpeted surface.
Yeah, that last one is a big one because the game is going to be played on carpet. If you test this on a hard surface, the robot is going to perform very, very differently. And just to make one minor correction, sorry, Faith, you're only allowed to use the electronics components in a single kit,
Yes.
So they only get 1 color sensor.
Yes.
So on that one, be careful, and the thing you should take from all of that is practice, test, and practice. So up here, along with those instructions, we're also giving you some code examples. Now this is incredibly basic, but it will do most of the things you need it to do. So with the instructions and the code, feel free to take this and then modify it. In FRC, we have the motto, steal from the best, invent the rest. So go nuts.
All right, gameplay tips. So robot design and behavior. Read the sail rules. There's a lot of things about what you can and can't do with a sail. Test your ship to make sure it can hit a moving target.
So those 2 rules are sort of combined. The sails in this game present a target for the other ship. So you're not allowed to build them small. You've got to follow the rules on how big they are.
Accurate line following is critical. So a lot of this game revolves around line following. So if you can't do it accurately, you won't score as many points. Remember, the best ships will balance competing laps and hitting targets. So this game isn't all about just sitting there hitting your target. You also got to be making sure you can move around and making sure you're completing those laps. Placement of the ultrasonic sensor and the catapult will determine when you can hit your target. Charging speed can introduce some interesting results. However, have some fun with ship design.
So on that one, you guys need to be really careful because, again, changing how fast your robot moves makes it drastically changes what it can hit. So go through those, take a good look, and also if you're going to decorate, make sure it doesn't interfere with the ball launch, because we've run this game several times now, and often you can get too carried away with the decorations.
Yeah. All right, so teamwork. Practice the two-person reload process. Make sure your operators know how to avoid being hit themselves, and you'll make mistakes. Be gracious and show teamwork.
So this game involves a handoff. So the two of your players have to cooperate in every lap to stop the robot, reload it, and get it going again. So you are as much an integral part of this game as your robot is. So make sure you practice that. And yeah, mistakes will be made. So get used to it now and have some fun with it. Okay, we have the full rules document, which I think Andrew has put up on the website. Is that correct? So that is us. The game is up, and take it away.
Thank you so much. The one thing I do want to mention is that for those, actually for all participants, there is a new Unified Robotics portal where you are able to register your school into a specific region or create a new region for this season. This will allow us to track and be able to help support you throughout the season. And so with that, you're also able to create matches and generate tournament matches if you are a regional director. And so this will help with facilitating the season a lot faster. And the website for that is portal.unifiedrobotics.org. And just feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or have any issues with it. And then lastly, these are all the resources that we have available for you. First and foremost, the Unified Robotics website, as well as the registration portal. We also have a new region guidebook and a new school guidebook that regional directors can use, as well as coaches, to be able to help them through the season in terms of logistics, as well as some tips and tricks to be able to go through the season. And those are in those links in the new region-GB and new school-GB. And then lastly, the game for this season, the rules. You can find that in unifiedrobotics.org/2023 game-rules. And lastly, if you need to reach out to us, you can contact us at leadership@unifiedrobotics.org. And if you need to contact us individually, you can see we have the emails for all of us there. It's just our first name. And so it's just our first name at unifiedrobotics.org.
Awesome, thank you. We will be sending out this slide deck to all of your emails after the kickoff ends, so you'll be able to access these links once you have the deck. But again, all of these things can be found on our website. Before we jump into our breakout rooms, does anyone have any questions, whether related to the game or the season?
Is the tape a specific product, or is it the color that we're working on sensing?
You want us to take that one, Delaney?
Yeah,
or
go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The color is critical. We mentioned the rules and dimensions of the tape in the, we mentioned the dimensions and basic type of tape in the rules document, but it's basically white cloth tape.
Thank you.